speakers, and Jeff from Nevada is going to introduce Dave from Nevada.
I'm Jeff, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Jeff!
The Tuesday Shift. Shit. Grateful to be here. Tonight, welcome to the newcomers. I mean, 2.5 years ago, I was sitting in this room, and I say this truly with every fiber of love in me, is that I hope that you're hopeless. And, because that's what it took me to go to any lengths necessary to ever feel that way again. It's good to see you here. Tonight's kind of a special occasion for me. I get to introduce my older brother. Tearing up. It's okay. It's okay. I'm able to feel that. I'm able to feel that. And it's a gift. It's a gift. You know? The book explains that we are selfish and self-centered, right? Driven by 100 forms of fear and self-delusion. And I totally identify with that. I seem to have this superpower of I can be looking you straight in your eyes while you're talking to me and not hear a goddamn thing you're saying. True story. If we're having a conversation, we're talking about me, good. When you start talking about yourself, I'm really wondering what that has to do with me. And it's that selfishness is the reason why I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's the manifestation of self, of the person that I became. And as soon as I found out what alcohol could do for me, I ran with it. 20 years I ran with it to find that perfect place where I could coincide with the world and the people in it. And that's what I did. That's what I did. A lot of wreckage through that time. And it was very difficult, not only for me, but the people about me. I terrorized people. You know. I don't got much time up here, but you know, I'm kind of a person that likes to take hostages, you know, search for the weak, you know, and anything good that people would bring to me, I would just ruin. You know, I would suck on people's. I was like a succubus, troglodyte. You know what I mean? Suck on them, get everything good they had to offer me, and I would ruin it. You know, I was good at ruining things, right? And you know, after 20 years of living that way, you know, really the only reason why I had to live was to suffer. You know, that's what I believed. And there came a point in my life where I had isolated myself in a room for a year, and I was 170 pounds heavier than I am now. I was a heroin addict, methadone addict, and an alcoholic. And during that time, I experienced a place of hopelessness that I'd never experienced before in my life. And it was horrible. It was horrible. The people, my family, my friends, they removed themselves from me, right? They had to. I was dying. I remember going to the doctors, and looked like I had been floating in the Hudson River for weeks. I was all bloated out, you know. And I walked in there with abscess in my arms and heavier, and he said, "Jeff, you're dying. You're dying." And I left that meeting with that doctor with every fiber in me to stop drinking. And I woke up that next morning and I bought a bottle of vodka. I couldn't stop. I took a power grade of myself. So during that time of isolating myself in that room, my family, all my friends removed themselves. And I mean, there was only one person that stuck around. He knew exactly what I was going through, and that's that guy right there, my brother. He knew exactly what I was going through, and what he did to me is he never once delivered a message to me. He carried me with him. My little sister's here tonight too. She has 30 days. There goes the tears again. So, you know, I remember early recovery. I don't know how much time. Early recovery. I remember walking into this meeting like a week sober, right? And I thought Jeff coming into Alcoholics Anonymous, it was going to be like a fucking rock of applause when I walked in this place. You know, I mean, there's going to be like this trumpets and everything playing for me. And that wasn't the case. And I remember I walked into this meeting just a a couple of weeks sober, and I've done a lot of horrible things in my life to people, a lot of violent things, just horrible, inexcusable things. But walking into this meeting, this crowd, I was paralyzed by fear. I was paralyzed by fear. And I remember right when I walked in, I walked right out and walked all the way down to Montecito Plaza. And I called this guy, I'm like, I'm never going back. I'm never going back. You know, he came pick me up, and you know what? I kept coming back. You know, given enough hopelessness and despair, I was willing to find power in myself. I hooked up with a sponsor, and he's actually here tonight as well. And you know, we worked the steps with Alcoholics Anonymous. It wasn't a group therapy appointment. You know, he wasn't my friend. He wasn't trying to be my friend. His only purpose was for me to develop a relationship with power greater than myself. And during that time, doing step work, honest step work with my sponsor, I had many spiritual awakenings. You know. And where's my life at today? I have a pretty amazing life. You know, a pretty amazing life. I have a great job. I have 2 vehicles, you know, plenty of money in the bank. You know, I have a pretty good life, but I can definitely find a reason to be discontent with this life. You know? Instead of being grateful, I tend to want more. If I have $10,000 in the bank, I want 20. You know? So what seems to really keep me grounded and keep me connected with the power greater than myself is working with new men. You know, today I worked with a guy today at 11 o'clock in the morning in Nevada, 3 days sober. Today I'm able to feel, you know, feelings, and you know, before I could intellectually understand thoughts, right? I can intellectually understand feelings like empathy, compassion, tolerance, right? But these are things I'm actually able to experience in my life today. It seems that the closer I get to a power greater than myself, the further I get away from those old ideas. You know, I mean, I don't do this program perfectly. You know, there's been times when I disconnect from AA and I comply, if you will. Right? I comply with AA. I go to meetings and I'm there, but I'm not working the program part of the fellowship, right? And usually, generally, what happens to me is I start working out about 5 hours a day, right? Start going online dating, trying to find ways to date, right? Working about 100 hours a week, right? External solution for internal problem. I found my solution. It's an easy solution. It's some work. You know, it's some work, but it's easy. So, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to introduce my brother. And guys like my brother keep me focused. I mean, they call me out when I'm acting like, you know, maniac. You know, when I'm working out 5 hours a day, how's your service? How's your relationship with God? Sponsor 2, how's your relationship with God? You know, the idea is that we're willing to grow up on spiritual lines. This thing in recovery has been trial and error for me. I have to go through these experiences. You know, my sponsor said something last week that totally hit me. He says that pain is what brings me back to God. It's not life. I know the comforts that I've experienced. I can't bring myself that comfort inside. It takes a power to do myself. So I'd like to introduce my brother Dave.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dave, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Dave!
So I gotta tell you, it's a lot different being up here than it is being down there. Holy shit! I didn't really get scared until just right this second. But I got God in my life, and I'm just gonna start talking, and whatever falls out of my mouth is supposed to fall out of my mouth. I want to thank whoever's responsible for asking me to be able to participate in the meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. I consider it a great honor and privilege to be able to stand up here and share my experience, strength, and hope with everybody. And it seems like the longer that I get to stay here in Alcoholics Anonymous, and the longer I get to be sober, the more I get to the understanding that everything that I do is an honor and a privilege in Alcoholics Anonymous. It's an honor and privilege to be allowed to do anything in this program, because I don't remember doing anything prior to July 19th of 2012 that would allow me to come into contact with something that would get me to grow into a human being again. You know, and that's exactly what I found here in Alcoholics Anonymous. For me, doing this thing and being of service and being in conscious contact with God is not about not drinking one day at a time. It's about being restored to a whole human being and being able to participate in life again. And I didn't understand that when I first got here. You know, I don't take any credit for coming to Alcoholics Anonymous And I don't take any credit for staying here, when after I got here. I'm very much under the understanding that my sobriety is a gift from God. And every day I get to wake up, and I get to be sober, and I get to live life is a gift every single day. I'm also very fortunate to not have to have been in a whole lot of self-pity when I got here about being an alcoholic. I was just so grateful that there was actually a solution to this thing. And I'm also very fortunate to not want to be one of those people that pats himself on the back for running out of a burning building. And I use that analogy of my life as a burning building because that's exactly what I do to it when I start taking it over. I burn it to the ground. And it seems like the older I get, the more capable and the faster I am at burning it to the ground. I'm just very grateful to be here tonight. I'm very grateful to be sober. As I stand here right now, I'm a very grateful recovered alcoholic. So what makes me an alcoholic? The doctor's opinion, it talks about a mental obsession, right? And I understand that very well. It seems like if I don't have something to drink, right next to me, within a general vicinity of anywhere that I am terrified and I am anxious. And there needs to be something for me to get comfortable right within my general vicinity for me to even live life, for me to even get off the couch and do anything, for me to even get out of bed. I need to drink something or take something, right? And if I don't have it with me, it's all that I'm thinking about. It's all that I'm focused on. The other aspect is also a physical allergy called craving, which I also understand very well. The only thing I'm thinking about halfway through a shot is the very next shot. And I can't tell you how many times I overshot the mark to get to that sense of ease and comfort. It seems like almost every single time I was the guy passed out at 9:30 at the party. The party ain't even started yet. I'm at the pre-party and I'm passed out. You know what I mean? I'm the guy who's waking up at 1:30, shit-faced, wondering where everybody went. You know what I mean? Everyone's at the bar and I'm there. But there's also something in the doctor's opinion which I thought was very interesting when I first read it. And the good doctor writes that people drink because they like the effect produced by alcohol. And so when I was reading that, I thought, what was the effect that was produced by alcohol in me that I love so much? And later down the page, he describes something, he describes a situation for people like me who are irritable, restless, and discontent, unless they can again experience a sense of ease and comfort which comes right away after taking a few drinks. And I identify that immediately. And the description, the outside description of being irritable, restless, and discontent, I admit is a good one, but it doesn't go far enough to explain the madness that goes on from the inside of me. You know what I mean? Ever since I can remember, I've always been uncomfortable in my own skin. I've always been overly sensitive, never able to control my emotional nature. I always had an incredible obsession with me, and it seemed like it's hard to believe, right? And I've always been obsessed with me. The only thing I remember about my childhood is me. That's it. I don't remember anything outside of my childhood. That's it. I remember me, and that's it. You know what I mean? I don't know anybody else's birthday. I know my birthday. If I'm supposed to speak to an ex-girlfriend, I can't remember her birthday. But I remember my birthday because I'm basically all I ever think about it, most of the time. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of meditation. It takes a lot of doing things that I don't want to do. And doing things for other people to get me to a place where I can experience 15 minutes of not thinking about me. And I'll take it, because it's the greatest 15 minutes I've ever experienced in my entire life, being free of myself. Both my parents were dual diagnosis junkie alcoholics. My father was never really around that much. He was out and about doing whatever it is that we do when we're out and about, and he'd show up sporadically with some sobriety every now and again. And he'd just pop in and be like, hey, I'm 2 months sober. Hey, I'm 2 years sober. You know what I mean? And shortly thereafter, he'd bounce right back out again. So I lived with my mom most of my childhood. She was very mentally, verbally, physically abusive. And she taught me how to smoke pot when I was 3, taught me how to drink when I was 4. And later she told me in life the reason why she did this is because she wanted somebody to hang out with. And that was her best thinking. And so, doing the step work and being in AA and realizing, having an 8-step list and realizing what all my great ideas are, you know what I mean? I've come to a beginning place of empathy for my mother. You know what I mean? And I carried long, long resentments towards her for a long, long time. Same with my father. You know, I blame him a lot for the reason why my life did the way that it was. Turns out that's not the case. But I also have empathy for him as well, because I've experienced fear and guilt and shame. You know what I mean? And so doing all that stuff has brought me to a place of empathy with my parents, where I held resentments for a long, long time. So yeah, I was always frightened as a child, always uncomfortable. So one day, one magic day, in the back of You Save Liquors in Novato, California, and halfway through a bottle of Mad Dog 2020, I found some magic inside that bottle. It's something that had never happened to me in my entire life. That stuff went down deep inside of me, and it calmed that screaming madness that had been going on from within me ever since I could remember. And all of a sudden, I'm very comfortable with who I am, where I am, the people I'm doing, people that I'm hanging out with, and my chest came up, and my voice got deeper, and my balls dropped a little bit. I'm right there with them. You know what I mean? I'm living life. You know what I mean? I'm no longer on the outside looking in. I'm no longer different and afraid. You know what I mean? I'm right there along with everybody else. And as soon as I discovered that mechanism about myself, that was the #1 priority for me to do from every single day from that day until the day I walked into Alcoholics Anonymous. And the reason why is because if I'm not comfortable, I can't participate. That's just the way that it is for me. If I can't get right, I'm not going out. I'm not getting out of bed. You know what I mean? The very first thought that pops into my head when I wake up before I got here was to get right. And it was the driving force in my life every single morning, from the time that I woke up until the time I went to bed, is to stay comfortable. And it wasn't always a bad time. You know, I had a lot of really, really good times drinking because, you know, alcohol worked for me for a long, long time. You know what I mean? Alcohol did that magic thing, man. It was so consistent and so wonderful, and I loved it. You know what I mean? I love drinking and eating. I like drinking and driving. I like drinking and working. I like drinking and sex. I like drinking. I like drinking. You know what I mean? That's what I like to do. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, when I asked somebody what the sponsor was, the sponsor, if somebody has something you want, it's like, I want a drink. You know, it's like I have a drink and some pills or something, you know what I mean? You know, I need to get right. I need to get comfortable. You know? And the best way I can describe it, man, is not drinking during the day is like Wizard of Oz when it's black and white. Right? It's dull and flat and Kansas and lame. You know what I mean? And then when I start drinking, all of a sudden the light, you know, the colors get bright, and the music is the best music ever. There's little midgets running around. It's awesome. It's awesome. You know what I mean? And so I keep that sense of ease and comfort as hard as I could for as long as I could. And you know, with every external thing that I used in my life to treat internal conditions, it always seemed to have a short lifespan. You know what I mean? It always wore off. You know what I mean? And it seemed like the longer it went on, the shorter everything would wear off. You know what I mean? So I would have to go bigger and different. And so, to give you an idea of you know, the shit that I was doing to myself, I went on a kayak trip with some friends of mine. This is a couple months before I got sober, and we're supposed to, you know, take the Saturday off and go down this, you know, down the Russian River and kayak and have this wonderful natural experience. And some people bring water and a towel and some food. I didn't bring any of that shit. I brought like a 30-pack and a bottle of Jameson and some weed, and I brought some pills, and I brought some coke, and there was some ecstasy and some mushrooms, and some cigarettes, and some chew. And you know, as I'm packing all this stuff into my bag, I'm thinking, you know, yes, you know, this is gonna be awesome to have this natural experience with my friends. But as it turns out, I needed every single thing in that bag to get down the river with people that I had known and been friends with my whole life. There was no way I was ever going to get down that river without every single stitch of thing, everything in that bag. You know what I mean? And that's how I had to live my life. That's what it took. You know, so, you know, from all the shit that I was putting into my body, I got super sick. I mean, I got so super sick, and I was sick for about a week. And through the grace of God, I swear through the grace of God, and from a very kindly project manager at work, I got sent to rehab. And in rehab, there was a guy named Ed Reed, and Ed Reed started sharing his experience, and he was an HNI speaker, and he said he was an alcoholic, and I identified with Ed Reed, and it clicked a little bit, and it's like, well, fuck, if Ed Reed's an alcoholic, you know, and I feel like him, maybe I'm an alcoholic, and that really bummed me out. You know what I mean? I did not want to be like my dad, I did not want to be one of you people. You know what I mean? I did not want to be an alcoholic at all. And as I'm standing up here right now, I don't want to be an alcoholic right now. I don't want anybody in this room to be an alcoholic. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody in this room to be an alcoholic. If I could take it all away, I would. I would. So this is the part I always get emotional at, man. This is the fucked up part. So, you know, because I'm not really good with feelings. I'm learning, you know what I mean? But I'm not really good with feelings. You know, I start feeling feelings, and I'm like, what do I do with these feelings? You know what I mean? It was suggested that to me that I just feel the feelings. Just kind of go with it, you know, see where it takes me. I was like, oh shit, yeah, okay, well, I'll give it a try. And let's see, yeah. So, as a condition of this rehab, we had to go into you know, like NA and AA. And it was a Wednesday meeting in the Church of the Nazarene at noon. And if you ever been to the Church of the Nazarene at noon, it's like everyone's got 3,000 years sobriety. And there was one thing that was very noticeable difference between the people in the AA meeting and the people that were in rehab is that the people in the AA meeting were smiling. And I didn't understand why. I was like, this is an AA meeting. What do these people have to smile about? You know what I mean? What is there to smile about being an alcoholic? You know? And so I sat down and I started to cry. And I sat in the corner, I had my hood on, and I started to cry, and I couldn't stop crying. I could not stop crying. The tears would not stop because I was in a pain and an agony and a terror deep inside of myself that I couldn't describe and I didn't understand. And after the meeting, after the meeting, the guy that was going to be my sponsor, sorry guys. Okay. The guy that was going to be my sponsor walked up to me and he told me something. Told me something that no one had ever told me before in my entire life. And he said, you know, you don't have to live your life like that anymore if you don't want to. And no one had ever told me that. I had no idea. Standing in front of me was the first person I'd ever met in my entire life who seemed to know what was wrong with me and why. And he said he was an alcoholic. And at that point, I pretty much knew. I mean, I knew that I was an alcoholic. I knew that I had this thing. And I experienced something deep inside of me that I hadn't experienced for so long that I didn't even remember what it was. And it was hope. You know, that man gave me hope. And hope is the greatest gift that you could ever give a hopeless newcomer alcoholic, in my opinion. That guy extended the hand of Alcoholics Anonymous to me to save my life. And if I live 1,000 years, and if I stay sober the whole time, I'll never be able to repay it. If I sponsor 1 million guys, you know, if I have 1 million commitments, I'll never be able to repay it back. Fuck, I'm sorry. Those feelings again, you know? Man. And a little bit of hope that I got. A little bit of hope I got from that guy turned into a little bit of willingness. And a little bit of willingness. That little bit of willingness was exactly the thing that I needed to take actions in my life that I did not agree with and that I did not think were good ideas, particularly the 12 steps. Right? You know, it was like I'm an extremist. You know, the book even talks about it. I just read it in the Family Afterward, An Alcoholic is an Extremist. And I did everything in my life to an extreme, except work the steps. You know what I mean? It's like, how insane is that? The very thing that's going to save my life, I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. Let's think about this thing, right? You know? I mean, how many cancer patients turn down chemo? You know, how many cancer patients say, whoa, hold on a second, I don't want that stuff. You know, it might help me. You know, but that's what I did. But it was just a little bit of willingness that it took to get me to work these steps. And, you know, it's like my parents are alcoholics, my brother's an alcoholic, sister's an alcoholic, my best friend's an alcoholic. Just about almost everybody in my life is an alcoholic that's close to me and knows me, the real me anyway. And there's one very important lesson that all those people have taught me, is that I don't have the power to get anybody else sober. I don't have the power to get me sober. And it was a very important lesson that I had to learn. A very important lesson, particularly in working with others. You know what I mean? I don't, when I sponsor guys, I don't sober them up. God does it. I'm the agent, right? God's the principal, I'm the agent. I work for that guy. You know what I mean? For a long time, I thought it was just me and God, buddy pal, you know what I mean? Partners in the same PR firm, you know what I mean? You know, watching each other's back and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But it turns out, you know, it's like, you know, I learned humility, right? And there was an old lady in the program one day, and she was like, you know, she heard me share, she walked up after the meeting, she's like, you know, when you really start to practice humility is when you stop suffering humiliation. And I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? I was like, she's crazy. She's crazy, yeah. But through a lot of prayer and meditation, now I understand exactly what she's talking about. I understand exactly what she's talking about. Like my brother was saying, I'm selfish, and I'm self-centered, and I'm self-serving, and I have an ego that's bigger than this whole room. You know, and I have an incredible, biblical, epic idea of what everyone in this room should be doing with themselves. And it's to the core. I swear to God, I thought, literally, if the world made me president, that I could solve the world's problems. If everybody in the world just behaved the way I thought they should, everything would be fine. I mean, everything would be fine. And I come to understand that is self-centered thinking. And the very interesting thing about this book, Alcoholics Anonymous, you know, this program is designed to get me into conscious contact with something, a power greater than myself, that will solve my problems for me and restore me to being a whole human being again. Right? The 12 steps are the mechanism which do that. The book tells you exactly, step by step, piece by piece, how to work these steps. You know what I mean? And there's a circle and a triangle symbol in Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Recovery, service, unity. Unity, AA meetings, right? Show up early and I stay late. You know what I mean? Service, commitments, right? Service commitments, helping other guys in the Alcoholics Anonymous program. And not just being of service to alcoholics, but being of service to the other people in my life that are not alcoholics, doing things for other people. You know what I mean? That's the stuff that sets me free, doing things for other people. I have a voice in my head that's like, as soon as somebody asks me a favor, I'm like, you know, I get really afraid, I get really inside myself, but when I listen to that voice in my head, that's not me, that really gives me all the good ideas, right? That really gives me this thing that brings me life, is when I'm the most free and when I'm the most comfortable. Because that's what I've always ever wanted to be in my whole life. That's all I've ever wanted in my whole life, whether I'm in a room full of people or in a room by myself. All I've ever wanted to be is to be at peace. That's all. That's all I've ever wanted. And that's what I've started in Alcoholics Anonymous. And that's what, you know, I was with the sponsee on Saturday, and he said a God-shaped hole within me. And I identify with that exactly. Because that's exactly what I am. I'm a God-shaped hole. God fits perfectly right in here. I'm a whole human being in here. You know what I mean? It's an incredible, miraculous thing. And, you know, my sponsor, me and my sponsor on paper are totally, completely different people. You know what I mean? He's very tall, very thin, blue eyes. You know what I mean? He's married, kids, and a house, and he's an office guy. And I'm a little shorter and a little thicker. And I'm I'm a blue collar guy, and I'm single, and I don't have any kids, you know, but you know, people were totally different. But when we work together, there's a certain understanding and a certain spiritual thing that happens in between us where we see eye to eye all the time. You know what I mean? When we make eye contact, there's something going on there where I understand him, he understands me. You know what I mean? And that is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful gift from God. You know what I mean? The understanding that one alcoholic has of another. And the feelings that I get when I'm with you are things that I did not bring here. Things that I discovered. I mean, things that I discovered. And you know, my sponsor, whenever I come with him with a problem, he's always like, you know, as soon as I call him, I know what he's going to say. You know, you got your book handy? I want you to get your book. And I want you to, you know, I want you to read that. You know, I want you to read this. I want you to read that. Remember when we read this? And people, you know, when I first got here, I was like, people were always talking about the book. It just made me sick, you know what I mean? It was like, you know, it's in the book. You know, the book says this, and the book says that. You know, the book is this and the book is that, and what I found in that book, and what I found the 12 steps, and what I found here in 8 meetings with you is that peace in my life that I had always been searching for, and I just wasn't born with. You know what I mean? It's that thing in my life, that thing that I found with alcohol, that thing that I found with pill and coke, the thing that I found walking into a strange girl's bedroom, all right, that power greater than myself, that I call God, you know what I mean? It's the most incredible experience I've ever had in my entire life being here in Alcoholics Anonymous. And I don't want to miss anything while I'm here. I'm scared to miss things while I'm here. You know what I mean? Thank you. Thank you.
The meeting is not over. Please remain seated. I need 7 volunteers to help stack chairs 30 high in the rollers after the meeting. Can I get 7 volunteers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Thank you very much.
Are you going to jump? Have you gone to jump here yet?
I'd like to re-welcome our 12 newcomers. Nate, Ethan, Ann, Mike, Chris, Stephen, Christian, Ryan, Darren, Kristen, Matt, and Don. Welcome to Alcoholics Anonymous.
You want to?
We have any visitors? Let us thank our speakers again, Jeff and Dave. Court cards will be signed at the front of the stage after the meeting. Please remember that we have this room until 9:30 and have to be out of the building by 10 o'clock. If you took a commitment, don't forget to see the coordinator out in the meeting at the front of the stage. Will the raffle people please come to the front? Get out your raffle tickets. We will raffle off a big book and a book of your choice from the literature table.
You're a question man, aren't you?
You got a question everything?
I'm an alcoholic. My name's Patrick.
Hey, Patrick.
This is for a big book. The number is 2207351. 2207351.
Yeah, of course.
All right, the new number is 2207234. Save it.